The following episode of the Double After Hours podcast was originally recorded on May 2nd, 2025. Double After Hours podcast. Take one.
Well, hello, everybody.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? It's another Charlie and Shane spectacular.
And the last time we did one of these, we talked about Captain America: Brave New Mid. And guys, I'm happy to report this movie wasn't mid this time. It was actually good. We finally get to talk about something good. Yes.
It was real enjoyable. It was so great.
Which I know my elation may not make sense because you're gonna go, but Charlie, but by the time this comes out, you guys have talked about like Last of Us and Back to the Future, and like you guys haven't looked at that bad stuff lately. But guys, we talked about the Garfield movies before this is coming out. So like, you know, it's the way the recording schedule has been lately. So I'm relieved that we actually get to watch something good for once.
No, this was because. It was amazing. We've covered, like you said, we covered a lot of stuff. We even covered things like Velocipaster of all things. Right.
We are finally talking about Marvel's Thunderbolts that just came out. And honestly, high key, I think we all had a pretty decent feeling going into this one for once, mainly because, you know, for whatever reason, it seemed like the production and like the filming of this one actually didn't go totally like crazy like last time. Like with Captain America, that one got delayed and a bunch of stuff happened to that one. It got a title change and everything. But with this one, it felt like they actually cared. They cared, but like it felt like production went a lot smoother this time around, which honestly I think kind of reflects
a lot of like interesting topics as well. That like they like kept some stuff in it, but hey, everybody from what I've been hearing, like amongst my friends, they all enjoyed it.
No, sure. I mean, obviously, it went through a whole logo change, and the person who's supposed to play Sentry, Stephen Yeun, got changed to Lewis Pullman. So there was a little bit of behind-the-scenes drama, but other than that, this one came out pretty close to what I think Marvel wanted to come out as, and honestly, I really enjoyed this one. I guess quick thoughts before. But first of all, hi, I'm Charlie Robison, by the way,
and I'm joined by. And I'm Shane Sygiel, and we're recording online, and Aaron is over at his radio station, but he's on mute right now. But he does say hi, and if future Aaron wasn't add his own like little voiceover and just be like, "Hi, I'm editor Aaron."
I don't think he's gonna do that. I think what future Aaron's gonna do is he's gonna put like a big like stupid sound effect, like the pig video or whatever, and like that's all we're gonna hear.
Just doing what.
For context, Aaron and Shane's new favorite internet video is just a video of a pig longingly looking at a camera before turning into a pot roast. That's all it is. Like it's so dumb. Like it's just
funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny at all. It's awful.
Dumb Thunderbolts.
I agree, but quick thoughts out of the way. I really liked this one. Now, I kind of went into this one going, wow, we have a Thunderbolts team that's kind of all guys who punch and shoot, as they say in the movie. How the heck is this going to work? And honestly, for the most part, I think they pulled it off pretty well. And honestly, with the characters that they adapted, like Sentry's in this movie and such, and he has a lot of baggage when it comes to his comic book origin and how exactly they changed it. I love the changes. I thought everything they kind of adapted to the MCU made a lot more sense. I thought his character was very simple, clean, streamlined, perfect. It got to the emotional core of that character that I really wanted to see. I thought that part, honestly, I thought that was going to be the hardest thing that this movie was going to pull off, and they did it with flying colors, in my opinion. Loved it. And outside of a very forgettable score and a couple jokes I think could have probably been taken out and maybe a little more runtime added to Bucky stuff so he didn't feel like more of an after statement in this movie, I think this is probably the best MCU movie we've gotten in a long time. Like, granted, it's like
in this way specifically.
I mean, like, granted, like we did get Deadpool like a year ago, but you know, after Captain America and after some other stuff kind of happened, it's like I'm happy that it kind of seems like the MCU is actually going into a new direction again, where this is the first movie that actually is going to ask the question, who's going to be the new Avengers? And we find out by the end of it, and it's one of those things where I'm going, wow, we dragged our feet since 2019 finding out the answer to this question when maybe this should have been answered like 2 or 3 years ago. Like,
yeah.
because I got the feeling at the end of this movie, I want to spend more time with these guys before I watch them get like whatever's going to happen to them in the next like big event movie like Doomsday. But yeah, those are my quick thoughts.
Yeah, for me, I enjoy this. I went to go see it with one of our former radio station hosts, George, last night, and him and I we had a great time watching this. I had some good expectations for this. The character developments for everybody, including like with Yelena, Red Guardian, everybody, Sentry too. It was really good. I loved all the cinematography was great. Just all the action was amazing. Like Charlie was saying, like I feel like they could have answered the question, who are the new Avengers, a while back. But honestly, though, I kind of like this way because now it's getting to a point where we're figuring out like this is all leading up to Avengers Doomsday that'll be coming out next year, actually.
What?
Yeah, that'll be very cool. But no, all in all, great movie. I enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun watching it, and yeah, I'm excited to see where they'll go in the future.
Yeah, so with all of those quick thoughts aside, we got to get into something else that's kind of quick, something else that's kind of fast.
Quick synopsis with your host, Chuck Robison.
I hope I'm never like called Chuck Robison as like a professional. Like that sounds awful.
All right,
like,
I'll go for a retake. Time for quick synopsis with your host, Charlie Robison.
Now that sounds a little better. Now my preferred name I would like to be called on air is I don't know, God. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, but
you would never do that.
My name is so long. It's like, it's not like quick, you know? It's not like, at least Shane Siegel's alliterative. I don't got that. Like, it's just like, hi, I'm white. Like, I don't know, man. But
hi, I'm white. It is great.
The worst part is my last name gets misspelled all the freaking time. Like, literally today in class, I was sitting there, like, and my teacher had a board of all of our names. And like he could have just went on the page and found my last name and typed that in. No, he still misspelled it somehow. I don't know how this happened.
Is it like the name, like they're like your teacher wrote all your guys' names like you did something bad in class, like in elementary school?
Oh, it's a presentation thing. And I already gave my presentation, but like I'm sitting there looking like, wow, you said Robinson instead of Robison. You added in an extra N for no reason. It was like, what the heck? It's like, you could have just copy pasted my name online and put it there, but no, you somehow found a unique way to screw this up. It's like,
how about if I call you Charlie Robison?
I think I would be. You know what? I've had my last name misspelled as Rob Brosen before. That one was weird. I was at Noodles and Company one time, and like I ordered a order for takeout or whatever, and I see on the tag Rob Brosen, and I'm like, okay.
All right, well, weird flies, but we'll take it.
Yeah, but speaking of bros, Thunderbolts are they're filled with bros, and we got to talk about the quick synopsis of their movie. So we start with a really fun intro sequence where the Void is like overtaking the Marvel Studios logo, and like before that, a bunch of Sentry comics and all those comic panels are like in the Marvel letters. I thought that was really cool. That was really fun. But then we're introduced to Malaysia. It hasn't been blown up yet, but give it a couple minutes. Yelena is sitting there going, man, I don't have purpose in my life. This sucks. And she's on a mission for Val because, as we all know, if you've seen Hawkeye and Black Widow, you know that after the events of Black Widow, she started to team up with Valentina to just kind of like have a job and kind of find some purpose or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she ends up breaking into this lab and they're yelling about, oh, the Sentry Project. It's not what you seem. She's like, I don't care. And she shoots a guy and realizes, oh, man, I have to blow up the lab now. So she blows up the lab. And she goes up to Valentina and goes, man, I feel like I have no purpose or whatever. But before that, you know, she like visits her dad or whatever, Alexei, because, you know, and because they're out of it.
They're Red Guardian.
And they're the Guardian. And like they have a really weird relationship right now. And she's kind of trying to like see something in her dad. Her dad's trying to like hype her up, but her dad's also a total mess, so it just doesn't really work out. And then after that call, she's like, you know, Valentina, after this, I want to be like front facing. I want to be in front of the cameras or whatever. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, I need you to do one last mission here and take out this one little target in this one little secret base in the desert, and you'll be fine. But before we get to that, we also learned that Bucky is a freshman congressman or whatever. He's in government, as we've learned in Captain America Brave New World. And he has no idea what's going on. He's just kind of there.
I'm here to stop the worrying. I'm here to stop people worrying about things. So we're going to get to the point of ending the worrying. That's basically.
He just really just like he's kind of out of his depth here, which is like, you know what? I can't see Bucky in government. Sure, why not?
That's something else.
But after that, we kind of, Valentina's testifying or whatever, going, I have done nothing shady. I may be on the board of this company while I've served the United States, but I did nothing wrong. And the next scene is like her going, all right, we're going to ship everything away. Please.
We got to get rid of the evidence. Get rid of the evidence.
Which is like, I kind of like that about Valentina because she's like one of those sleeper MCU characters they've introduced in these new phases going, yeah, she's fun. I want to see more of her. Like, kind of like taking her up that like Nick Fury-ish role that she kind of used to have or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I just really like Julie Louis-Dreyfus because how can you not? That's Elaine. But like,
we love Elaine working in Congress.
Jerry, look at the news.
Jerry, look at the news. Elaine, she's working with Congress. She's going off about this Sentry project. I want to be part of it, Jerry.
So you think that you're God? Yes, I do think I'm God. I have all the powers of an Avenger. Well, maybe the God would learn how to have a better haircut. Something such a God.
Laughs right just starts playing over.
Yeah, it just like it cuts to like an outer shot of like Jerry's apartment, but the Sentry just like fucking rockets in and destroys it.
That would be
God, please give me the Seinfeld and Marvel crossover, guys. What are we waiting for? But what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for all these goobers to go to the secret desert base in the desert. And Yelena breaks in. She's told it's like one little target, not a big deal. And she ends up getting jumped by, if I remember correctly, it was John Walker first. Yeah, my boy, U.S. agent.
Yeah, U.S. agent first, and then Ghost appeared, and then
I love Ghost.
Dude, Ghost was great, and then all of a sudden, Taskmaster shows up, and they start fighting, and towards the end, bam, Taskmaster gets killed.
Which I gotta say, out of all the decisions they made in this movie, a little early for that. It's so strange because like when Taskmaster is introduced, it's like Yelena and them have a little moment where it's like, I'm not here for you, because if you watch Black Widow, you know that she's kind of like the villain in that movie. And then like 2 seconds later, I think Walker shoots her in the head or whatever.
Yeah, it was Ghost. Look,
it was Ghost? Okay.
Yeah, Ghost phased through, grabbed the gun, and just popped her right in the crown here, whatever. Frontal lobe.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, man, we had the opportunity to maybe leave them locked in a room to talk about what happened, and we didn't do that. Okay.
All right. Now Taskmaster's dead.
I mean, we should have known we were cooked when like Taskmaster's actress wasn't announced for Doomsday. We probably should have known, but you know, whatever. I just thought that was kind of weird.
Anyways,
but all these 4 characters, that being Yelena, Ghost, and John Walker, and then a dead Taskmaster, are all locked in this room together. Taskmaster dies, and we're introduced to a random guy who's also there, known as Bob. He has no idea what's going on. He has a bit of memory loss. All he knows is that he showed up for like a medical test or whatever, and now he's here. And Yelena found like some paperwork for like the Sentry project. We'll find out later. So they have to figure out a way to break out. It turns out the room's actually an incinerator. Ghost is able to phase out through a bunch of shenanigans. And they all end up breaking out and being able to go, hey, let's break out of this facility. Yippity-dee. Fontaine learns about this.
Government party going on.
Right. Fontaine learns about this, and she finds out that, oh my God, this random guy named Bob is actually surviving all of this. Maybe he's related to the Sentry things. Maybe we found the one. So they end up breaking out of the actual prison itself, and we get a lot of fun scenes where the characters are talking to each other, including a fun little heart-to-heart Yelena has with Bob, and just a lot of John Walker being a dick. And I gotta say, that's gotta be one of my favorite genders in the MCU. John Walker being an absolute douche.
They wrote him pretty well in that movie.
Like, we'll get into it later, but Wyatt Russell kind of killed it here. And I'm sitting there going, like, I knew this character could be something special if they just gave him the right writing, and oh my God, we're finally here. And there's a really great joke that Bob has where he's like, you're supposed to be Captain America? And he's like, yeah, but you're such an asshole. Like, it's so funny. And it makes you go, yeah, he was supposed to be Cap. Like, it's the sense of humor that's not afraid to poke fun at little bits of the MCU, and you're going like, yeah, like this is fun, you know? You put all these unlikable characters in a room and just things happen. It's wonderful. Because they're all miserable and pathetic during this entire sequence. It's so fun.
Series.
But eventually, they actually end up breaking out of the prison. But before they are able to do that, Bob creates a diversion by shooting a bunch of guns in the air and ends up distracting them so that way John, Yelena, and Ghost can drive away, and Bob ends up sitting there. But oh my god, this is when you find out he can fly. They fly now, and a bunch of bullets. They fly now, and a bunch, which is important because none of the other characters can fly. And a bunch of he gets shot up with a bunch of bullets. You think he's dead, but nope, he's actually very shredded. My goat for real, but
he's invincible.
Not really, but well, kind of whatever. But Bob ends up going into the air, crash landing back into the ground where he's captured and transported to Avengers Tower. But it's not Avengers Tower anymore because if you watch Spider-Man Homecoming, you know they moved everything out of Avengers Tower into the compound. So it's kind of just been up for rent since 2017. And 8 years later, we finally got the answer of who occupies the building now. Which
pretty much.
I got to say, out of all the decisions they could have made with that, everyone kind of thought, is it going to be the Baxter building? Is it going to be Oscorp? Maybe even Roxxon? Like, what are we doing here? Now it's just the Watchtower.
Roxxon would have been cool.
Not even the one from DC Comics. But like, all right, whatever, sure. all right, MCU, do you, I guess. But, you know, so he gets captured to New York City. Meanwhile, Alexei, who has had this limo business the whole time, and that's how he learns where Yelena and the others are, because he ended up being the limo service for Valentina or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or Vanessa Fontaine or whatever she's called. I keep forgetting.
La Fontaine, the family deal. We're going to call her that.
She's DeFontaine or whatever. So that's how he finds out that, and he ends up driving his limo to the middle of the desert to capture them. And what happens is that they end up, you know, getting into the limo and they're memeing around and like talking about their past or whatever, being an embarrassing dad. Yeah, and that's when they eventually coined them being called the Thunderbolts off of Yelena's childhood soccer team who sucked and people pooped on the field. It was a whole shebang.
Yeah, and they said that like there was this like company, it was like Shane's like tire company or whatever it was, and how one of my friends, like after like he got done with the movie, he's like, Shane, why would you let a kid poop on the field? And I'm just like, hey man, I don't blame me, okay? It was this person that did it. It was a whole thing. My friend and I had a bit doing it. It was funny. Listen. Yes, the kid
Pooped on the field during the soccer game, but hear me out. Stage hazard. Mario Kart that banana peel right at their faces. I don't make the rules. Just like, listen, it's there. Distraction.
Mario Kart, add the
like you just got
the poop power up.
No, yeah. I mean, there's a couple months before. There's a couple of months before the next one comes out. You can figure it out. But anyway, poop jokes aside, because that's what we've devolved into. Yep. So a bunch of DeFontaine's agents end up showing up and finding them in the middle of the desert because Alexei drives a massive limo in the middle of the desert. Of course, they're going to find him. And they end up getting into a little car chase or whatever. And just when all hope seems lost, Bucky shows up because he's been having contact with DeFontaine's assistant or whatever, who's kind of on the fence about all of this. And she calls him. It's a fun little subplot or whatever, but that's why he's there. And Bucky ends up doing a cool little flip move where he grabs the cable and flips the car or whatever with his metal arm, or his vibranium arm.
Vibranium. Adamantium.
I know, it's not adamant. There's a lot of fictional metals, okay? But
yeah.
But after that, Bucky ends up capturing all of them. And after getting a phone call from the assistant about how crazy everything is and how the Thunderbolt story actually lines up, because he decides, all right, I guess we'll work with them. Let's head to New York. And eventually, the Thunderbolts get to New York. They go up to Avengers Tower. They have a fun little fight scene where Fontaine eventually invites them up. And we're introduced to Bob's new self, the Sentry, which he looks cool outside of the hair. I hate the hair.
Yeah. The suit, though, clean.
And guess what? He has all the powers of the Avengers mixed into one. He's stronger than them. He's super strong. He can fly. He can mess with your mind, which is kind of what he's been doing to some of the characters earlier, which is how we've been seeing some of their traumatic flashbacks and such. Wish we saw them for some of the other characters like Ghost or Alexei or whatever. That could have been fun. But whatever.
Cool.
But they end up going to the top floor of the Watchtower, kind of where that scene in the first Avengers movie where Tony's talking to Loki, at the bar, that scene.
Yeah.
And the Thunderbolts realize that, oh my God, the Sentry is actually really strong. And we get a really fun one take where Sentry just ends up destroying each member of the Thunderbolts before they have to eventually retreat or whatever. And after this, DeFontaine's like, all right, Sentry, so you're going to do this for me. And he's like, But I'm a god.
I don't think I will.
Why should I listen to you? And, you know, they're like, well, got to use the kill switch. They use the kill switch on Sentry. And that's when we're fully introduced to the other half of Sentry, the Void. And for those of y'all who don't know how the Void works, for every good action or every Sentry kind of action Bob does, there must be an equal evil reaction that happens by the Void. So after all of this, Bob loses control because he dies, and the Void comes out as negative emotions overshadowing everything, and he kind of looks like a shadow man. I really liked the effect for the most part, but I think I would have preferred red eyes. I think that would have looked cooler.
Yeah.
But or have maybe his eyes be more visible, something like that, so I kind of know where I'm looking at.
For some reason, I thought that the silhouette like of Void looked like Markiplier. Am I the only one that thought that? Oh, my name's Markiplier, and now you're gonna go into the Void.
Is that the Void of 87? God dang it.
Was that the Void of 87?
I hate it. I can't wait to make an edit where Sentry just holds out his hand and just hear the Markiplier chomp sound effect or whatever. It's gonna be wonderful.
Or like the FNAF 4 8-bit.
This is the problem. So many characters look like Markiplier. I mean, Flynn Rider looks like Markiplier if you give him glasses. I don't make the rules. Colonel,
Yes.
not Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist, but his buddy with glasses. He also looks like Markiplier. There's a lot of characters look like Markiplier. It's a real curse. I don't know what happened.
Bro, when's Markiplier coming into the MCU? That'd be great.
Who does he play? I don't know.
He plays himself.
Yeah, he's canon.
Like you see him go up against Doctor Doom, just be like, "Oh, everybody, my name is Markiplier. I'm going to defeat you, Doctor Doom."
No, yeah, he just gets destroyed. But anyway, I don't know, man. But after this, the Thunderbolts kind of have an identity crisis. Yelena's like, "We're all losers. We can't do this. I don't believe in us." Yeah. And Alexi walks over to her and gives her a very good emotional pep talk, and she's like, "Oh, okay, that was really good." And after this, because the city is kind of engulfed in darkness also at this point, because the Void is kind of like running amok and doing bad things. And after this, the team finally comes back together and they start saving people as the Thunderbolts. And Yelena ends up going into the Void where Bob is sending all these people and ends up confronting a lot of her childhood trauma memories that she's been having throughout the whole movie. But she's interacting with them more. We get a lot of great scenes where Yelena's actually like really going through it here. I don't want to spoil how they actually play out because I do think you should actually watch them. But I will say really fun stuff. But at the end of all of this, she finds Bob in like his childhood home or whatever, and she's having a heart-to-heart with him about, you don't need to do this. You're your own person. You can make your own decisions. You're strong. Kind of your emotional pep talk. And we kind of learn why Bob is the way he is, because through the floorboards of the attic that he's kind of in, we see like a dinner scene that happens where his parents are basically telling him that he messes everything up. He's a screw-up. He's kind of a druggie, because Bob has kind of been lost for a while here, kind of adding to that theme of lost souls of people trying to find themselves. This movie's been projecting onto us. And it's really, it's no Moon Knight episode 4 or 5, if I remember correctly when that episode happened, but it's pretty good the way they actually develop it. It actually makes you really feel for Bob. And honestly, I'll save some of my thoughts for that later, but it has that emotional core that I think a lot of Marvel villains are missing. And I really liked how they handled it here. So after this, the Thunderbolts also jump into the Void and they end up joining Yelena in like these childhood trauma flashbacks or whatever. And after this, the Thunderbolts find the Void at the end of like their memories or whatever. Bob tries to beat him up and he ends up almost getting consumed by the Void until the Thunderbolts come around and surround him and hug him. And they all kind of officially become a family in that sense. It's really cute. It's really fun. It's no Guardians, but it's still pretty good. But
made a good message.
And so after this, they end up getting returned to the city. The Void leaves New York. Everyone gets transported back to where they was. And they find Dave Fontaine on the phone or whatever behind a tent. Naturally, they go, hey, she screwed up our lives. Let's go capture her. And they end up going beyond the tent, and a sea of press is there. And Valentina ends up revealing that this secret project that she's been promising to the media this whole movie is actually the new Avengers, featuring the characters we just spent the whole movie following. That's why the asterisk was there. And then the movie ends. What a stinger.
Bro,
oh my.
It's good.
And we get a little moment with Yelena where she goes, we still own you, or whatever. And that's the movie. And I gotta say, I think we all kind of knew going in these would be the new Avengers or whatever, like some kind of version of an Avengers team. But to be called the new Avengers, and that's how we leave us, because literally the credits, before we get the first credit scene, they're like, they have a bunch of like little press releases of, can we trust the Thunderbolts? Are they going to lead the way? Are they as good as the original Avengers? Like a lot of fun, like New York Post, like Washington Times, or like kind of like style, like cartoon post. They're really, really cool. And we get our first post-credit scene where Alexi's in the store, and
Wheaties.
Yeah, and like she like a woman's like grocery shopping or whatever, and he holds the box of Wheaties that he's been wanting to be on the face on for so long with the new Avengers, and the woman looks at it, puts it in her cart, puts it back before he leaves. She leaves the frame, and he's still watching.
Dude, I was at Target the other day, and I saw that they had a Wheaties like T-shirt. I should have gotten that and worn that to the theater last night.
It was really funny. It was a great joke, and then for our second post-credit scene, we get a 3 or 4 minute long exchange where we see the Thunderbolts, like, what was it, like 14 months later or something like that? Like a considerable amount of time. They're in the new Avengers Tower. They're kind of like adjusted at this point, all rocking new uniforms. The US agent has like a new like cap or whatever. Like everyone's like sporting new looks
or something, whatever it's called.
Yeah, for, like the hat that Rolento has in Street Fighter. You can look that up. But and they're talking, and they have like this 3 or 4 minute banter scene where they're all kind of like jokingly arguing with each other. That's actually shot pretty well. I'm sitting here going, wow, I kind of want to spend more time with these characters now.
It was cool.
And they end up getting not a distress signal, but an alert that something is coming in through the atmosphere, a massive problem in space, as they call it. And it's a rocket ship, and it moves to its side. And the Fantastic Four logo is there while the theme from Michael Giacchino in the new movie is blasting.
It was that. Oh, our theater was just going crazy when that was happening, because they're like, no way it's the Fantastic Four and stuff.
I'm torn on it. It's so weird because I'm sitting there going, it's a great scene. Like, it was directed wonderfully. The jokes all hit. I love seeing these characters. And also, I love the idea that the new Avengers gets formed, and that's when Sam Wilson decides to make a new Avengers team, and he tries to sue for the name rights. I think that's hilarious. I want to actually see that scene, which, to me, I think this is like the curse of this movie, right? Is that it finally feels like after this, we're in a new direction with the MCU, where we have a new Avengers team. Sam Wilson is there. He's now forming his Avengers team. We should have a couple movies about that before Doomsday, you know? Something like that. And now we're just kind of going, all right, big crossover, go. And I'm sitting there going, well, I want to see the new Avengers team before they fight Doom, you know? Like, exciting. Well, that's too dang bad! But, like, we can't win them all, Shane. We really can't win them all. But
it's true.
And also, it's like, I guess we did just spoil that, like, the Fantastic Four, either their world got destroyed or they escaped it, which I guess people kind of probably know that to a degree if they're keeping up with this stuff. But still, it's like, for your casual audiences, way to spoil the end of the next movie. But I don't know. I'm torn on it because I think for, like, it's a cool scene and I really liked it. And it feels like something that would happen in, like, Doomsday. This feels like a Doomsday scene. Yeah. You know?
The whole like what's gonna happen in Fantastic Four, this will definitely like play out in like Thunderbolts. Like we'll probably see maybe this is just me theorizing about Fantastic Four. We'll probably get a post-credit scene where it's the Fantastic Four meeting up with both the Avenger, like Sam Wilson or Sam's Avengers and the new Avengers, and they're like trying to converse and stuff, and then there's some about Doom probably. I don't know, that's just me just going off on this topic.
Oh, sure. And like, I think all in all, though, it was a feeling of, man, I want to see like Avengers versus the new Avengers now before like Doomsday. Or it's like, it's a weird thing because I'm sitting there going like, man, I wish they did another Avengers movie before we got Doomsday. It just feels like if the pacing allowed it, they probably would, but it just isn't there. But it's like, man, like you set up this whole group of characters that I want to see interact with another group. It's like, whatever. But no, that's the movie. And overall, I know we kind of blazed through that, but it was great, you know? Like, I know I keep saying, like, oh, it was good or whatever, but, like, this was genuinely a very good Marvel project. Like,
no, it definitely was.
And we're going to get into some of the nitty-gritties of it right now.
Yeah.
It's time to spin the wheel!
That wheel!
And it looks like we're landing on Sentry first. So,
Man, Sentry, what a guy. Let me tell you, this man.
Oh, Shane, tell us about him.
So we basically a lowly. Obviously, like he's had a rough childhood, but then all of a sudden he gets these powers, and then I liked his character development in the movie, where he's trying he's interacting with people, like with the Thunderbolts, like during this time and everything. And then once he's captured by LaFontaine, he's starting to hone into his powers. And then, but the suit though, clean. But I could agree with you, Charlie. The hair though could be different. But his suit, like the S logo for Sentry, super clean. I like that, the character development, and I'll let you go more into detail about who Sentry is, like from the comics.
No, sure. I know I kind of alluded to it earlier, but for those of y'all who don't know how Sentry was introduced in the comics, largely how it worked is that they tried to play him up as this character who was in the Marvel Universe the whole time. And they did a bunch of fake covers where Stan Lee and like Jack Kirby did drawings of him, of a character that was never done. He apparently knew characters like the Hulk, the Mr. Fantastic, like your classic Marvel characters that are big household names. But for whatever reason, they don't remember him. It was a whole storyline. Even though it was really cool, it's one of those storylines that when you take it to the movies, it's a really hard sell. Not because it's not interesting, but because if you're not careful, that's going to become the whole movie. You know? Like that's going to become like the only thing you can really work on because of how dense that plot is. And also because the other half of Sentry is his relationship with the Void, where, as I kind of established, for every good thing he does, the Void has to come out. That's generally the rule that is established. But his relationship with the Void is very strange. Where is he real? Is Sentry real? It's a whole ongoing thing that the comics got very complicated with very fast. But the movie, I think, played it about as straight and I think about as well as you could have, where they took out all the fluff of him being a character in the Marvel Universe before and largely focused on his relationship with his emotions and with the Void, which in my opinion was the right call. I think I made like a little short video about it when a trailer dropped like a month or two ago on these pages, where that was essentially what I said they should do. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, how is this still going to play out though? And I think the way they did it, where we spent so much time in the third act essentially going through his head and going through his memories with him fighting the Void and how he was actually talking to the Void. It never felt like it was a one-sided thing. I think was really smart. I think, honestly, after watching Thunderbolts, I was going, this is what Red Hulk should have been on an emotional level, where I think why a lot of people got mad at the ending of Captain America was that Sam shows up, throws his hand in front of Harrison Ford like he's Chris Pratt in Jurassic World, and then
he's
Red
like,
Hulk
no,
just
don't do it. This is not you. This is not you, Harrison Ford. This is not you, Han Solo.
No, yeah, like he totally Jurassic Worlds him, and he powers down, and that's the end of that. Where I think I'm on the record saying that's the right emotional beat, but it should have been longer. This is what I meant. We had a full frontal view of Bob's trauma and Bob's psyche, and we were able to really dive into that. And then he powers down from the Void. And granted, there's still threats there. Like he still is afraid to actually go into the Sentry form or like use those powers because the Void might come out, which is a good challenge because that's generally how Sentry works. Is that yes, he has the powers of a god, but he's agoraphobic. And I think that's a really interesting character detail. They're probably going to play it up like they did in World War Hulk, where the only reason he didn't stop the Hulk earlier is because he was just terrified to go outside. But yeah, I think honestly, a lot of what makes this character work. Actually, Shane, you go. Blah, blah, blah.
No, I was gonna say just like kind of like I feel like they played the character pretty well in this movie, and also like obviously with the because they obviously changed the actor. It would have been cool to see Stephen Young play as Sentry. I think they probably might save him for like another project or another Marvel project because he's also been busy with Invincible and everything, like recording that.
But also the way you described the situation was that he was on the hook to do it, but because of COVID and because of a bunch of other stuff that got moved back around, he didn't have the time for it anymore. So he had to drop it, but he's still open with working with Marvel. So honestly, if they can find like an X-Men related role for him to be in or something, or like just throw him a bone, like get Stephen Yeun in your movie. Like he's pretty cool. But like
cool to see him.
Because again, it's like I think he could be in one of these, or like honestly, if like you can get him for like a Spider-Man villain or something, or like I don't know, like figure it out. Like you could do something. He's probably a little too young. He's probably too young to play Mr. Negative, but like, I was like, you can work with it. But anyway, but that aside. I think also what made Bob so fun is that he was a total fish out of water in this sense, but also like fish out of water in the sense that he's still very observational. Like he makes that joke to John Walker about him being a bad Captain America. And like, it's funny because largely that's a lot of how he operates. He's a very observational kind of character, but also in that we get to watch him grow from that. We get to watch to see how his Sentry persona changes him and how he basically like acts about being a god. The only part of Sentry that I really didn't like was the fight scene in the Watchtower where he's beating up the Thunderbolts. Not in the sense that I thought like, oh, he shouldn't be. No, like that's a good beat. That makes sense. I just don't think the effects actually sold him being that strong.
Right. Like they could have been done better to a degree. Like
I think he should have hit them harder. Like it kind of looked like he was holding back that whole time, and then the way the fight ends is kind of goofy, where the Thunderbolts go back on the elevator.
Yeah,
it's like the
elevator and like, oh no, what are we gonna do?
Oh man, I crapped my pants. But like, it's like you could have punched them out the window or something, like something more intimidating, if that makes sense. Like it felt like a very weird way to end that scene. Like felt kind of awkward. And then like the Thunderbolts are arguing in like the New York streets for a bit, which felt kind of weird, kind of like low key, kind of low stakes or whatever. I don't know. But like, it was one of those things where I think the writing has it, but I just don't think some of the framing devices and some of the CGI really sold it,
Yeah,
where
it could have been done better.
Granted, I hope that's changed for Doomsday. I hope he just becomes an absolute behemoth in that movie. But I think as a whole, Sentry worked really well. And I think people are going to come away from this movie going, yeah, he was good. Let's see him in Doomsday. Let's see him in something else. And again, this is one of the fun parts about the MCU, and honestly one of the most frustrating parts too is that they are capable of introducing new characters that are interesting. The problem is that
they're going to portray the character.
But also it's like they keep going like, all right, when are we going to see this character again? Moon Knight, it's been 3 years. Werewolf by Night, it's been 3 years. Checks watch. Wow, it's been a long time since we've seen some of you. John Walker, it's been 4 years. Like, guys.
Ghost, it's been
7 years. This isn't funny anymore. I just want. I just want
more characters.
Yelena, it's been. Oh, it's also been 3 years for her, hasn't it? She last showed up in Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, oh my god, it's been brutal. Just waiting for these characters to be in something again. But yeah. That's the frustrating part about this movie is that this movie is filled with interesting characters who I don't know the next time we're going to see them outside of these Avengers movies.
Oh, definitely.
Because Marvel's just got a lot of balls in the air right now. But I don't know, man. Maybe drop a couple of them. But let's spin that wheel and see what we got.
Oh, yeah. What's up next?
So we got Dave Fontaine.
Yeah, I remember first seeing her. It was in the end of, it was Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was after the court scene with John Walker, and she's talking to him about this like new project and stuff. And then we've seen her in a lot of like different media, like, obviously with Falcon and Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Hawkeye, the second one.
Yeah, she was there.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was there for a little bit. And now this. So I think it was. She was a very interesting character, and how her company was like Ox Corp or Oxcore or something like that.
Oxon or something like that. Like I thought like they were gonna do like, oh, this Roxxon or whatever. No, it's Oxon. It's very different. Very different.
Yeah, it's different names. Don't get confused with it. But she was an interesting character, and just the way that like I'm trying to figure out like a good way of describing her. It was like
she felt like she had like she felt like she wasn't in the same like mode the whole movie, you know? She had scenes where she had it together. She had scenes where she was a total mess. It felt like she was allowed to be vulnerable with us as an audience member, which I actually really enjoyed. And honestly, I think when you're writing like super smart, super crazy characters like this, I'm thinking of Palpatine actually in the Star Wars prequels, where one of the reasons why, fun fact, guys, I hate the Star Wars prequels. They're not good movies. But I think one of the reasons why I didn't like those movies is that Palpatine was written in a way where he was in the same, like, yes, my plan is going all according to me, kind of like whatever kind of way. We never saw him to be that vulnerable at certain points, but with De Allegra Fontaine family deal over here, we're actually able to see her have moments where she is like totally offloading the compound to get people not to like go like, you know, my report showed up squeaky clean, maybe too squeaky clean. Like there's a lot of moments where like, I'm so freaking clean, guys. What was that?
I don't know. That was weird.
It kind of sounded like Aladdin talking about bathing or whatever. I don't know. Boo! I'm clean.
Clean.
I don't know.
Again, I'm clean.
It's just Sonic taking a freaking bath.
Oh god.
Yeah, welcome to Sonic 4. Sonic takes a bath. It's a new.
But no, her character is just like, yeah, like obviously had the like that like weak sense to her, and she was. It was almost kind of like I was gonna say some like how it's almost like a Nick Fury kind of way of like how she's like trying to like bring these characters together, and then towards the end she kind of did like it kind of worked with her and against her, because now it's like with all these characters now the Thunderbolts are now in control of her, and how like originally she was in control of them and what they did.
No, sure. And she's one of those characters that I'm sure she's probably going to pop up in something again. I don't think this is the last time we're going to see Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but like she's one of those characters that like I'm interested to see how she's going to handle this moving forward, because we've gotten a lot of layers to her so far where yes, she does want to protect the US government. Yes, she's willing to do shady things because of it. Like I don't want to straight up call her a villain, because while she did do some crappy things, she did them for like what she thought was the right thing. There's bad people and there's worse people. Like she gives that whole speech to her sister. Like, and that's what I really appreciate about this movie. It feels like in a movie of anti-heroes, it's willing to look at everyone and go, yeah, you're all kind of pieces of work. You know? Mm-hmm. And again, Julia Louis-Dreyfus gives a very fun performance the whole time. Like she has that dumb joke about like her last name or whatever, and it's like she's making it to like the Congress people or whatever. And like they start laughing or whatever. Like she knows how to work a room. And I really love how we get to see that aspect of her character really play in, because the whole time she's talking about how the media people are going to show up and look at Sentry and go, that's our new hero. And then obviously the Sentry goes rogue. How the heck is she going to handle that? Oh yeah.
All the Avengers rolled into one.
Right, like, wow, Los Angeles. But, like, you sit there and you go, how is she going to... Okay, the media people are here or whatever. How is that going to play? And then if you're actually paying attention, that's how she rebrands them as the new Avengers. Like, it's little moments like that that makes her feel smart. Like, sure, it's probably a little improv-y on her part, but it's good improv. Like, it's not that she's a dumb character that's worked out for her. She's nor just using her situation to her advantage. And I really appreciate about her. I think she's a really fun character who I want to see more of. Like, come on.
Definitely.
Will we see her in Doomsday? I hope for at least one scene. That's all I'm asking, just one scene. I believe that's all we got to say about Mrs. Fontaine, the family deal. Let's see what else we got on the wheel.
Let's see it.
Oh my God, it's the Winter Soldier, the summer civilian, Bucky Barnes.
He is eloquent and safe. No more.
So if I am going to gripe about this movie a little bit, I feel like Bucky at times feels like he's a little...
Like a side character type?
Yeah, which granted, it's the Thunderbolts, not the Winter Soldier. So, hey, I get it. But also, it's like, I think if I'm going to add runtime to this movie a little more, I only would have added a couple more scenes of Bucky dealing with being a political figure. Because I think part of this is like, Bucky is like, you know, feeling like he's discontent with his life right now, like the rest of these characters. He's not really made for politics, you know, like that's the angle. And I think that's a good angle. But I think I just would have liked to see that extended out a little more. Nothing crazy, but more like maybe he's failing at small talking with people who like only view him as the Winter Soldier, the guy who the guy who killed Tony's parents and the guy who helped save us from Thanos or whatever. Like, he's got a very complicated legacy he's going to leave behind. And I guess I would have liked more characters to really call him out on that during this movie, which, granted, we've had a lot of that in the MCU so far, so I get why they didn't want to pull that trigger initially. But I'm also sitting there going, like, I think if you want to sell me on him not being good in the political world, I gotta see him struggle with it just a little more
interactions with other people in Congress too.
Yeah, like, granted, we do get that one bit that Shane did earlier where he was worrying about the worrying and like he was stuttering with the question. That part was good. I wanted more of that. Or like him trying to study the papers or read the documents and like he just doesn't get around to them because he's busy doing something else or like something happens or whatever. Like some kind of mechanism to where you can understand why he doesn't like the political world other than like he's bored. Because for most part, this is a character that we're looking at going, he's been fighting for hundreds of years. He's trying to find something new. Like, what's the angle here? And now he's part of the Thunderbolts. And you know, I think for the most part it worked. I think just honestly more, I really wanted to see that phone call between him and Sam. Like, yeah, for characters who say like "love you, brother" to each other now, for Sam to get really pissed at him for taking the new Avengers name with John Walker, the guy that they both hate. Like, I gotta see more of that, you know?
Exactly.
I think there should have been a few more conversations between Bucky and Walker in that regard. Granted, they do have a little spat where he goes, "Walker, I know who you are. I know the choices you've made. You're a deadbeat dad. You're bad or whatever." But like, I gotta see more of that, you know? Like, I want to see Bucky challenge Walker on that a little more because those are the two characters in the room going, I need to see them spat because they have a lot of history with each other. And it's like, that's the one part about Bucky's including, because I think including Bucky is fine, but like, I think if you're going to include them, have them fight these characters just a little more verbally. And we didn't get that. Although I will say I did like the new suit that he had, like in the post credits.
Oh yeah, it reminded me of that, like of that one, like it's the one suit in Rivals where it's like that like dark suit kind of like
like the revolutionary suit or whatever they call it.
The revolutionary suit. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but no, I think he was fun in this movie. Shane, you like Bucky? You made him in Rivals. You like him a bit.
I do made him in Rivals. I think he was pretty good. He was pretty good. I liked him. I think he had a lot of good like opportunity. There could have been a lot of more opportunities for him. But I mean, I think it'll be cool to see him in the future projects, especially with Doomsday and Secret Wars coming out. And also, hopefully, we'll probably get more interactions with him and Sam within the movies and stuff. Maybe interesting.
They definitely did set up an interesting thing for him moving forward, but I just would have liked to see him argue with the characters a little more because I think that's why I felt he was a little disconnected from some of this, where he felt like as a character, he had like not the least reason to be there, but like, wow, he doesn't he doesn't have as much going on with these guys as he really should, you know? Definitely. But anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I have too. But I mean, like maybe in Doomsday, because as we're recording this, they're working on the production for it. We might get some stuff about like more interactions between the two, but we'll just have to wait and see for May 2026.
So, next thing on the wheel, Yelena Belova. You know what? She kind of killed it. I'm not even gonna lie. I think one of the scariest parts of a movie like this is that you have this ensemble movie and you go, okay, who's the real focus? You know, in the first two Guardians movies, it was Star-Lord. In the third Guardians movie, it was more Rocket. In the Avengers, granted Avengers Age of Ultron, you could tell that was more of Tony's movie. In Civil War, that was more of Cap and Tony's. Like, it's a really hard dichotomy where, yes, you can have these big team movies, but you got to narrow in on a specific character to lead us through it. And they chose Yelena. And
that's a good choice.
And honestly, the way that she's handled here, I really enjoyed because it never felt like with the sea of these other characters, it always felt like it was her movie. You know, it was always her at the front. She was making the most choices. She was appealing to Bob. She was the one to do that. She was the one who had the heart-to-heart with Alexi. She was the one to do this. You get my point. Like, a lot of the choices happened through Yelena. Granted, the characters are all kind of going through the same thing, feeling lost and alone and trying to find that togetherness. But again, we're introduced to that with Yelena first. We're able to actually see her struggles. We're actually able to quantify why she would feel alone and sad. We get that great one take where she's fighting in the hallway and like she's still narrating at us, which is why I was talking about with Bucky. I wanted to see what they gave Yelena to Bucky as well, which is why that frustrated me, because I think this movie was capable of doing that thing. No, I thought a lot of what they did with her, and especially how she was able to talk down to Bob, I thought worked very well. I think they found a very strong emotional center for this movie. And for a movie that's kind of acting as a Black Widow semi-sequel in a lot of ways, I think choosing Yelena as your lead makes the most sense here.
Oh, 100%. I think, yeah, it was like, I did like I've heard like learning more about her character development, like after Hawkeye and her life afterwards, and how she's like doesn't have that connection with her dad, and just how she wished she wanted like more from him just to talk and stuff. But she definitely hit like an emotional level, like too, especially like obviously what we mentioned with Bob, how she cared about Bob and how what do you say, Bart or Bird?
Bart.
No.
Homie, Sentry's here.
Homie, the Sentry is out in New York City.
Holy crap, Lois! This reminds me of the time when the Void.
That reminds me of the time the Void came to Quahog.
No, not again. We're not doing this again. We're not having more characters come to Quahog.
Oh boy, this was the time that I saw the Red Guardian at the Clam.
At the Clam.
But with Yelena though, I liked how they like the audience can relate to her, like can like get an emotional like connection with her. How like obviously like there's like the loneliness that people often experience, and how like people should be with others, and also how she portrays that too, especially with comforting Bob, especially in the Void, and how she was like the first one to reach out to Bob and just be there for him, and then all the other ones too. I just think but Florence Pugh did a great job doing Yelena.
Oh, totally. When she flips from serious to funny, it doesn't feel as jarring as the other characters do. Like there's a couple of moments where like Walker will say something kind of funny, and it's like, maybe you shouldn't have said that there. But when Yelena does it, it's like, no, she kind of killed it. It's like, it's a very specific kind of cadence that she has in her voice, which I've always really appreciated about her acting in that sense, where you can really tell that like, oh, she kind of knows what Marvel dialogue is supposed to sound like and how it can kind of hit home and when it sounds awkward. It's a very specific thing. But again, we've gotten a lot of these since 2008. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, cool.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. But I think that's all we have for Yelena.
We got two other things on the wheel left. We've got, hold on, I got to spin the wheel again. I didn't modify. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the new Avengers portion first, and then we're going to talk about missed opportunities second. Yeah. So new Avengers stuff. We kind of got into it earlier before. This is more going to be us like kind of speculating and fanboying just a little bit.
But the audience will be fine with that. They're forced to listen to us.
They're not. They can turn this off at whatever they want. But at this point, it's like almost the end of the episode. You're here. Deal with it. But I think what makes this idea fun is that we're naturally putting these characters still in conflict despite the fact that they've earned being Avengers, if that makes sense. They're not at the compound, they're at the tower. They're playing with sloppy seconds. You know, it kind of feels like that moment in Young Justice episode 1 where like the sidekicks go to the Hall of Justice and like they're still not at the Watchtower where the actual stuff happens. Yeah. Like it feels like these characters still have a couple stepping stones to be Avengers. And I love the fact that like people are making memes about them. Like, granted, I would have loved to see them. Show me the memes. But, like...
Shows the Avengers memes. We need them.
What do the memes look like in the Marvel Universe? What's their 9/11 memes? I need to know. But, like...
Nothing.
Well, think about it. It's like they keep talking about the Battle of New York. It's like, do they make jokes about it? Like, I'm just genuinely curious. It's like... And again, I'm also curious. I thought Tony might have owned the rights to the Avengers namesake. Is that not how it works? Like, I thought like Stark built the compound and everything. He had the legal rights, but like Sam is suing. So does he have it? Like, again, I got a lot of questions here, guys.
There's a lot that goes into this.
I don't think I'm gonna get the answers, but like,
not for a while.
No. But no, I mean, I think it's still really cool that even though they have earned being superheroes in this world, they're still feeling like second-class citizens in that regard. I think it's really funny, but also it's like it gives them a natural chip on their shoulder that they're going to have for the rest of this universe where, yes, they're technically Avengers, but they're not Avengers. They're the new Avengers.
They're not the Avengers. They're like the bargain bin Avengers.
In the same way that when they eventually get around to doing Young Avengers or Champions or whatever they're going to call it, which is rumored to be going into production next year, they're always going to kind of also have that chip on their shoulder too. Like there's something about that I think is really fun. And also the fact that they're called the New Avengers on the credit sequence, on the Wheaties box that Alexi holds up, which is still a great joke. It's still funny.
Oh, no, it was great.
I'm sitting there going like, yeah, like it's going to be kind of complicated over comms going, New Avengers, go over there. Avengers, go over there. X-Men, no. But
New
like,
Avengers, go.
That part of me wished that they would have kept the Thunderbolts name because, you know, the Thunderbolts is a really cool comic and there's a lot of
Dark Avengers
or something, you know, but the Dark Avengers is a specific thing that's not really this, but like, there's part of me going like, yeah, having them called the New Avengers is cool, but also it's like, maybe I kind of want them to stay as the Thunderbolts. I don't know. It's like, because like,
there's a lot that they can do with it.
Because I think just like having an Avengers and a New Avengers team is going to be a lot to it. Like, just like, you never want to have that moment in casual conversation where we're going, oh, Ghost is my favorite Avenger, but she's a New Avenger. Like, you know, you don't want to do that. But like,
yeah.
I think from a storytelling perspective, though, it is really fun. It's a really fun idea. And also their logo looks kind of weird.
So clean.
It looks like the Meet the Robinsons font. I'm not even going to lie. I don't know what they were doing with it, but like...
Yo, Meet the Robins is officially in the MCU. They're the New Avengers.
Yes, after I see Alexi singing Another Believer, then I'll believe it. It'll be peak. But...
So real. I
don't know. Also, I love the fact that they're the Avengers with a Z. I think that's kind of hilarious. Like, that was a good joke.
And you know, and Alexakov's just wearing like a Formula One shirt, or like outfit too. I think that's really fun. But yeah, I love the fact they're New Avengers. I think that's a really fun chip on their shoulder plot detail that's going to come into play later. Mm-hmm, yeah. So I do have a question though. This is about Taskmaster. Do you think that Taskmaster there'll be a new Taskmaster, or do you think that's kind of hard to do? Like maybe bring him into the Spider-Man universe or something.
I don't think it's hard to do. It's more just, do you really want to deal with the baggage of that? Because it's like, if you're going to ask me if I would rather introduce a new character or just kind of try Taskmaster again, I think I would just rather be introduced to other characters at this point. Because I'm sitting there going like, to sit there and go, here's the new Taskmaster, kind of throws the old one under the bus. And even if I really don't like what they did to Tasky in this universe, it's like, I would rather spend that time focusing on X-Men or Fantastic Four or a bunch of other Spider-Man or a bunch of other characters that I think are more important and deserve more screen time than Taskmaster again. Mm-hmm. Like, I want this universe to move forward just a little bit. If they can find a cool way to do it, I'm game. But I want this universe to move forward, if that makes sense.
No, I totally get you on that.
Speaking of Taskmaster, we've got missed opportunities / Taskmaster. Because for those of y'all who are kind of in the social media loop or whatever, you would know that Marvel Studios dropped a video where they revealed most of the cast for Avengers Doomsday a month or two ago. And every 15 minutes, they would announce the next person on a chair. And they ended up introducing every member of the Thunderbolts except for Taskmaster. So all of us kind of went in going in here going, so Taskmaster's going to die, right? Yeah. And then I think a day before the movie premiered on Thursday Night Previews, one of the people, one of the directors, someone came out, went, yeah, there's going to be a surprising death in the first 20 minutes. And we're going, okay, so Taskmaster is dying. Yes. And then we watch the movie and Taskmaster just gets shot in the head. And it's like, welp, okay. And I think the only reason why it bugged me is not that we killed Taskmaster, because again, I don't care about Task dying. Like, whatever. This isn't my favorite version of Taskmaster. But which I gotta say, I've said the word Taskmaster a lot this episode. Yeah. But I'm sitting there going I just wish these characters had a conversation before they died. Because it feels like
if I had a nickel for every time Taskmaster showed up in an MCU movie, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
it is weird that it happened twice, but I'm sitting there going, I wish that she had an opportunity to argue a bit more with Yelena, or tried not to rekindle that relationship, or have it go more on the rocks, or something like that, and then she dies, because it kind of feels like she shows up for nothing at some point, just to kind of throw another character on the poster, you know?
But yeah, and then I think for another missed opportunity, I think it would have been cool to see some of the other characters like interact, like dreams with, or not dreams, like they're like traumas.
No, I agree.
Like it would have been cool to see like something with like Alexakov as his during his time as the Red Guardian. Something about Ghost being in the lab
shield or whatever, you have a lot of opportunities to because again, we got a lot with Yelena, that's good. We got a lot with Sentry, that's good. We got a bit of John Walker, my goat, but we sit there and it's like, hey, we got a couple more people. And Bucky makes a joke about it earlier where, I've been through my memories, pretty normal. And we probably don't need to see Bucky's memories again because we've seen them a lot. Let's focus on newer characters. But we haven't seen Ghosts in a minute, but since 2018, we haven't seen Alexi's in a minute. Let's give the whole team the treatment, give them
the whole Void treatment, the whole trauma dump story.
Right. And I think other than that, I think what makes these team up movies really fun is having these characters sit down and talk about their similarities. And we get that a little bit. We have that fun little exchange where John Walker and the other girls are talking about what kind of guns they carry. That's cute. That's fun. Yeah, I like little moments like that. But there's also moments where I'm going, maybe Ghost and Walker should have had a brief conversation about how they were both, or not, I'm sorry, not Walker, Bucky should have had a brief conversation about how they were forced to be weapons in that sense. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of moments here where I can see why this team was assembled. And if you actually put it on a graph, there's a lot some of these characters have in common, where we have also that little bit where Bucky's where Alexi's what kind of super soldier serum did you get? And he's the usual regular Hydra. Oh, Hydra! I got the Russian copy.
I just got a can from 7-Eleven. I just put it into the serum, just injected to my veins, and
Sir, we can't let you cut open dozens of White Claw cans to make a Winter Soldier arm.
Monster, please! I need to get my super soldier serum.
Sir, you can't use the white monster cans as scrap for your Winter Soldier arm. It's not going to work. I'm going to let you know that's going to be very painful.
Dangerous.
It's going to cut your arm. You're going to be bleeding. It's not going to be fun. You do not want.
Soldier I am.
You do not want blood in the snow, if you know what I mean. It's not going to be cooking here. But I'm sitting there going because I think this is what's keeping me from putting it as a top tier MCU movie, is that I feel like a lot of the best ones, like Guardians, have these little scenes where characters are talking about why they're similar. And I wanted more of it here because I feel like that was one of the few missed things where I'm going, this movie is almost amazing, but it's just good, And that's frustrating because I think it's close. But I wish some of these characters talk about the similarities more, because that's how you really get an audience to really bond with them,
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I don't know, actually. I mean, we already, you mentioned a lot of, the good stuff. But, more of, the character development and just talking to them would have been cool to see. Would have learned more about about these characters and, what they've been through, after seeing them on the screens. It would have been cool, see more of, Ghosts and how she got that, the new armor and everything. How, the upgrades, she got post Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Sure. But yeah, moral of the story is there's a few moments in this movie where I would like to see them slow down just a little bit and talk about their feels.
Talk about feelings. It's always fun to talk about your feelings. Charlie, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling swell.
Oh, nice. Same here. I'm
feeling constipated. I'm going to poop after this.
Huge. I gotta go log out soon.
But I think on that note, because that's really all we got to say, that's Thunderbolts. Closing thoughts, I had a really good time with this. I know I've kind of been dogging on it just a little bit. That's because I get nitpicky and in the weeds with the stuff I really like. But other than that, I think this movie worked. I think it's a really solid addition to the MCU. I thought Phase 5 ended on a wonderful note, and I cannot wait to see if they can keep this momentum going into Fantastic Four First Steps, releasing in July. I'm so excited for that movie. I've been waiting it since I was like 16 or whatever. Like, I've been waiting for this movie like my whole life, a good Fantastic Four movie, because I've never gotten one. Maybe I'll get this one. We're going to see if that happens. I'm really excited for it. And that's going to be probably our next Marvel thing coming out. But yeah, I really liked this. Maybe love's a bit too strong of a word, but I had a really fun time with this, and I want to see these characters pop up again and grow and develop. I don't want this team to be shelved for 3 to 4 years. Like, it seems like every new Marvel thing happens nowadays.
Right. Yeah. Going off about that, I enjoyed this. I had a great time, a great viewing experience. I loved everything about it, and like talking about it, especially with you, Charlie. Just it gave me a lot of more hype, especially like with learning more, like with all these like other Marvel projects coming out with Fantastic Four, Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, and also other smaller projects too, like the new like Vision Quest coming out, Ironheart,
which comes out like in a month. Ironheart comes out in like a month and there's no trailer.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I guess they just don't care. Rip Riri.
Yeah. Poor girl. Wow. Way to treat Riri like that, but no. All in all, Thunderbolts was enjoyable. I had a great time seeing it. It was great. Another good way to end off this phase of Marvel, and also slowly starting into the next phase. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
I need to see scenes with Sam Wilson, John Walker arguing against each other of who leads respective teams.
Yes, agreed.
You're not even the leader on your team. I need to see something like that. I want more John Walker. That's my takeaway. Give me more John Walker, Marvel.
Well, John Walker was a good written character.
He really was.
But played by a good actor, though.
I know, right? He's a cool guy. But anyway, speaking of cool guys, that's what we are. What's coming out next? Probably the Garfield movies by the time this airs, if I remember correctly, with the schedule is. What comes out after those? I don't know, man. You'll figure it out. But other than that, we got a bunch of socials. You can check us out. We're going to let you know in our end card. You can check it out in the description. We got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We'll let them know where you can find us there. We're on all of the podcast platforms on rss.com. That's linked in the description below, so you can check us out on all of our platforms. That's like a link to a website that lists all the platforms we're on. We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, a bunch of other stuff. Other than that, I've been Charlie Robison, and I'll see y'all next time.
I've been Shane Sygiel. Thank you all again for listening to this episode of the Double After Hours podcast. It's always good to talk about these movies with the guys here. And I will see you all in the future. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Double After Hours podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to see a full list of our platforms, be sure to check out our page at rss.com, linked in the description below. We've got social media pages featuring highlights on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, with links below. The best way to help us grow is by sharing us wherever you can, or by telling a friend, family member, co-worker, or whoever by word of mouth. It goes a long way. Thanks for listening and staying after hours.